best avoiding him throughout the day, throwing to the other side of the field or the check down read. After he made such a big impression at the All-Star game, he backed up his play with a fantastic showing at the Combine and Pro Days. The team has to be grateful he was available at this point in the draft, and it didn't waste any time scooping him up.
I pull up in the land. Diamonds on me look like I heard he's always hating, said I'll never make it. I heard he's always talking with them. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I heard he's mad at me cause I'm getting money. I heard he's mad at me cause he's on me. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Styles on them like it's common sense. Hopped out the Benz like it's common sense. Got a monkey on my feet like it's common sense. Got gorillas in the streets like it's common sense. Stack the money heads up like it's...
The Jets are now on the clock.
Shefty now with the inside scoop on Walsh.
When I ask scouts around the league what his biggest asset is, they always point to his father. His dad is a high school coach that knows how to consistently finish in the top of the school's division. And ever since he was able to walk, he's been on the sidelines for every game. Even after he leaves practice at night, he's still getting advice from his dad at home. And from what I've heard from scouts who watched him play, you can tell the extra coaching has helped. Even during interviews at the Combine, I was told by several GMs that he was one of their favorite players to talk to. He has his dad's eye for the game, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him become a coach one day himself. I like him a lot, and he'll be a great addition to the team.
I just tell him high and by. Slide up automatic high and die. High and die. High and die. Doing styles on them like it's common sense. Hopped out the Benz like it's common sense. Got a monkey on my feet like it's common sense. Got gorillas in the streets like it's common sense. Stack the money heads up like it's second nature. Gotta stay pulled up like it's second nature. Keep a chip in my hair like it's second nature. Big make me share like second nature. You're gonna do it, yeah, I haven't did it. I'm handling it, handy with it. Think I'ma do it, let that do it. Bang. Stick jam like what happened to it. Was it not working, bruv? Why you think I'm lurking, bruv? Creep on him, lean on.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
They keep bopping like I ain't seen nothing. Don't make me upset. Reach for an object. Who's that in the passenger? Brown skin, got big body. In my face, on me.
The Rams are now on the clock.
Popping, never pop nothing. Stop bluffing.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
For brilliance, wouldn't rest on a million. Dressed as civilians. All their masked up looking creepy. Park up, jump out.
Let's go to Adam now, who's got more on the Patriots' last pick.
Early in the offseason, a lot of scouts were concerned with his ability to run a pro offense. The majority of the snaps he took in college were out of the shotgun formation, which gave teams little tape of him dropping back to pass. So he spent the offseason training with a quarterback coach to work on his footwork and mechanics, and it seems to have paid off. He looked comfortable at the Combine going through passing drills. Each time he squared his feet, kept his shoulders level, and threw an accurate pass. The team liked the development they saw enough to take him here. I think it was a good move.
Montana.
You know, I'm like, yeah, nice P, you know?
What up, Pink?
Man.
La música de Harry Fraud.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me like Jodeci. But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things, I bring them things. I call them, he bring them things. Mucho, I bring them
You don't want with them, bro. Oh, you ain't it.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
You ain't got no friends. Oh, they'll be wear that like a Chanel scarf like rainbow. $1,000. This ain't your cloth. You ain't, that ain't no sauce. I can see the noodles made for poodles. I'm thinking about the LaFerrari coupe. 1.8, the option is the roof. Greens is a secret to the youth. Your goals are malnourished. Please spit the juice. Y'all be vaping, I be laden. Yes, y'all be aping.
The Giants are now on the clock.
No diamonds, just turn beyond facing with gears and sprockets with the sapphire casing.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me like Jodeci. But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things, I bring them things. I call them, he bring them things. Mucho, I bring them things. Looking so expensive, rings and things. I bring them things. I bring them things. I bring them things.
Here's a little story about a kid from Morocco. Had to show Carlito I was Benny Blanco.
Check it out.
Raindrop, offset. Plug, need an outlet. Child put me in the box. I'm in the box off. All the face shorty, socks off. Mac Miller, Reggie Miller, the killer, Canaries, Black Stiller, White Villa, Fresh vanilla, garage like a kill himself. Lauren Hiller, get up. Crib Calabasas on the hill. I had a morning plate. Beatles on the red carpet. Alcatraz bars, crash cars, ain't no future in front. My homies rip your mask off.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me like Jodeci. But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things, I bring them things. I call them, he bring them things. Mucho, I bring them things. Looking so expensive, rings and things. I bring them things. I bring them things. I bring them things.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
You're getting way too big for your boot.
Pick's been made. Let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about the player.
At the Combine, he finished toward the bottom in every drill among offensive linemen. A lot of scouts expected him to have a redeeming pro day, but that didn't happen either. In fact, he even tested worse in his bench press in 3-cone drills. In a class of linemen like this, I thought he would get lost and end up undrafted. But now that he's just been picked up, I'm curious to see where this team uses him this upcoming season.
We do it, want all the talking, go on and do it. Running through the party, bottle up, rolls in my ear saying don't do it. Double on my shoulder, I don't lack. Getting with the business, I don't scrap. Even when I'm bar, I'm so easy ride, but there's no car and no mash. What you talking about? Clown, stand down, never had a thing, never had a pound. You were never bad then, you ain't bad now. Never had a then look back down. Wait, I saw bare kicks, saw bare clothes. Said not that, I can't wear those. I don't like them, they're not my thing. They went silent, they're all weirdos. Like yeah, Storm's gone clear. Never had a Tom Ford or a Montclair. Man, them a calm, but you see my done there. Tell them don't do it, don't dare. Don't care who you know from my block. You're not Al Capone, they can take my car and my creps. I still do the road in my socks. Like who's gonna stop me? You, him, little man. I got blue slims. Don't be an idiot, move smart. I've been killing it, new king. You weren't ready for my new stuff. You're a boy by yourself, don't group up. And when Crep went states for the BTs, I was covering Crep like a boot cut. If mad, it's a family thing.
The Bills are now on the clock.
Salary ting. Had a young team called Amy telling me to come round hers on a Valerie ting. Hashtag Murky Academy ting. You were like art and the gallery ting. Dumb boy there when the chat.
Bills just made their pick. Adam, what can you tell us about him?
In college, he was always a playmaker, baiting the quarterback and making something happen after the interception. However, his problem areas were exposed at the All-Star game. Playing against some of the best receivers and passers in college, he struggled in zone coverage. He gave up a handful of big plays, always looking a few steps behind. One coach told me if he played a little tighter in coverage and made a play on the ball more often, it would have an instant increase in his production. We'll see if his new position coach can get him to do just that.
Mad stress, so I'm bound to like my sway.
I'm down to ride for flips. Real G's gonna ride around to this. Man, I got no time to write a diss. I never left my 9 to 5 for this waste man thing. I don't care what rave man's in. I came here to relax, but if it gets mad, make a young boy take man's things. Try to tell me I'm way too big to rebel. Nah, man, you're never too big to rebel. I was in the O2 singing my lungs out rude, but you're never too big for Adele. Leave my yard, blow a kiss to my girl. Salute to my sister as well. Gotta keep trophies down at my mum's bit. Man, I'm getting way too big for my shelf. Man, I see bare MCs on the sideline, but I still got a couple bangs in the pipeline. Man, I got grown men at me. You're getting way too old for the timeline. You're getting way too old for a diss. Should've looked after your kids. Get out the booth, go home to your son. It's never too late to commit. It's like man love, put my name in the...
The Broncos are now on the clock.
This year I learned how to take care of business. Next year I learned...
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Look, you're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
How dare you to suck the truth?
The Bears are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock.
Honorable C notes.
Yeah, little fish. I say, Lord, be my savior when it come to getting this paper. People take me from my haters. Just say me and I won't save us. Say amen. Amen, 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 yeah. Amen. That boys and they can't win. Can't win, can't win, can't win, can't win. Check. Going up. Win it, we gonna.
The Brooklyn Dodgers are now on the clock.
Going up. Ripping up with honest. We used to drive them Hondas. Now we pull up in the Fondas. Go up. Walk in. Show up. Baby, hold up. Go up. Boy, don't touch. We float. Blow up. Yeah. I'm laughing to the bank. All new blue Benny Franks. Pulled up on him in the tank. Yeah. That guy just a rap guy. I'm so mad fly in. He ain't. Let me back. I gave me until I.
The Bulls have finally put in their card. What's going on? We check out with Adam Schefter.
He's one of the few receivers in college that no matter what sort of coverage you threw at him, he always came away with the ball. A great example is one of his impressive touchdown catches that has been on highlight reels ever since. It was late in the game, and the defense knew who the quarterback was going to target. He was surrounded by 3 defenders when his quarterback put the ball in the air. And even though he was completely swamped, somehow he managed to pluck the ball right over the defenders' heads. He isn't the biggest receiver, but he has the ability to stretch and make the play, essentially making him a larger and taller target and a real threat in the red zone. I think this team got a possible difference maker at receiver.
Hold up, blow up, blow up, boy, don't touch, we flow, blow up, blow up, blow up. She lucky, cause she 5 mil cash in Tucky. Told me, I walk up and Neiman, spend 10K just like it's nothing. I hang with the demons, they don't play by me, we cut. Woo, I was coolin', Atlanta, mixed the with the fan up. All them, I got Santa, I go monkey, all that. Don't do just what I say. Pull up, fastest Uber in that race. She so bad, but she said. I feel guilty, I might as well just plead my case. I say, Lord, be my savior when it come to getting this paper. Please protect me from my haters. Just say me and I won't save her. Say amen. That boys and they can't win. Check. Going up. We in it, we gonna. Going up. Till they like my persona. Going up. Baby, don't with honest. We used to drive them Hondas. Now we pull up in the furnace. Blow up. Walk in, show up.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Hold up, blow up, boy, don't touch, we flow, blow up. Counting up the bills with my dominant hand. Yo, choose up. Take this, appreciate it. This too. If I tear up the rim shot. I'm going global, coast to coast like my G.I. Joe present. I've yet to see a Cobra. So off my rocker got me sipping club soda. Some bombs never go off, some stars never blow up. I'm pitching in, never in the dugout. Reaching in my and I can't take a head count. Flashback, 03, things was looking rundown. Now I set foot in the place, it's a luau. Killing like 10 counts, y'all know how we get down. House with the fence around, y'all know that we en route. Transition from the Impala to the Fisker. I should charge admission for that to get the dessert. Left the doors up, now the Lambo has pigtails. Since you getting comfy, I'ma let you sit there, I'ma let you stay there. When I shed a tear, they didn't have no care, so I'ma charge retail. I brought some cause you say you want sick. If you love sick in the room, you best get well. Every dog has its day, what the no tuck. Sway Lee, Winter Magazine, double XL.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
Colors burst on the cars and the jewels. I'm a wanted man. Seats looking like they got a spray tan. When I was without, not a helping hand. I got some guys that throw it back and make me drop the cans. I told Ben Frank just to drop a pin. I could let my fit go to the highest bid. Yes, I might drop in. It all depends. Junior high, I was dreaming of a...
The Chargers are now on the clock.
I mean, not a spec. My girl be serving looks. I can the chef. Katana sword popping out my walking cane. I'm overseas, my Cali Bay like how was Spain.
The Colts are now on the clock.
Money and you having issues. I bought a and it came with a...
The Panthers are now on the clock.
Without breath, I really am a mess. I'm mooching off myself. She be hoping that I take.
So they've just picked up Neil. What's the latest on him, Adam?
The importance of a lockdown pass defender cannot be emphasized enough, and that's exactly what every GM I talked to described him as. His ability to play physical and to outwork his opposition off the line have also been areas of high praise on his journey to the draft. This skill set could be seen in numerous games this year where he completely shut down some of this draft's top-rated wide receivers. When you're tasked with neutralizing an opponent's number one wideout each week, there's a great deal of responsibility to ensure you're not just physically ready, but also mentally ready. This is another important trait the GMs I spoke with mentioned to me that made them so excited about this guy. The hope is that he will quickly learn the playbook, get some solid reps in the preseason, and come week one, be ready to play.
Shaka Zulu chains with my name engraved. I told you on swing, don't say my name in vain. We bring it to your door like, you rang? Spending all the money, then we watch it boomerang. With the Fendi belt, angry face like, put some gold on my fingers, neck, and shoestrings. Long time no see, that's what they say when they see me, man. I've been going crazy just to stay sane. Hey, your girl went missing, who's to blame? Young whippersnapper with a range. Pause, then I went to range. Call that hottie on my stage. Long week, but a great day. So it got me like sage. And on me, you should get a raise. On me, yeah, you can hate.
I done came up, bustin' down the whole broke, it's that bad. Want your people swag, you ain't even gotta ask. What are those, what is that? Please don't touch my rap, please don't touch my rap. I'm racked up like rappers, I'm wrapped up on camera. Hit out on camera, squeeze like asthma. It's rare wrath when I wear wrath, bare wrath when I wear wrath. Might invest into some rap shit, Lord, still shit wrath. And I'm dripping on rags, Rick gon' be the tag, through the digital dash. Yeah, I'm boasting, never brag. Please don't touch my rap. Or the Chris Van Nash, Alessandra Gucci glasses, the W Anderson collab.
Adam, what can you tell us about McCoy?
If you read Matt Miller's weekly draft stock report, you've seen this kid's name mentioned almost every week. He started the season relatively quiet, but each game he showed more and more of what scouts love to see. No doubt about it, this kid plays with heart and he plays tough. Watching him on the field, you can clearly see him go 100% and never waver. And on the sidelines, he looks like a natural leader, firing up his teammates or keeping them composed when necessary. I can see why scouts like Matt Miller have fallen in love with him. The coach and players have to be excited to have him on the team now.
Ralph Simmons, don't lace him. Got your wanna.
Huh? Wait, don't wanna talk about the paper. I swear they got these be haters. They be hating, I feel out of living cul-de-sac, don't get along. Ooh, right with my neighbors. Diamonds on my neck and roll it on. Now I later got underbit flavors. I'm with my lifesaver. Ooh, feel like Darth Vader. I'm a boss, you know I might riff it. Ooh, right in my basement. Yeah. But you know that I'm gon' face it. Wait, that's the reason that they mad. Color Uzi, yeah, he made it. Yeah, I would have rap for I made it. Yeah, I would have rap for I made it. Yeah, got that rap all in my basement. Yeah, once they got patience. Yeah, I'm famous. Yeah, put myself inside Mark Jacob. Hey, making a place with my label. I get it, I count it. 100 on my table.
Sterling silver laser. Rubies red, my skin too black to blush, too red to tint, not pages. The saint on the wizard up. Pockets full of mint leaves. It's smelling like it brushed tea. Say cheese, see the porcelain. Water, see backwoods. Raft dragging on the floor. In it.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Stuck to the pavement, they glued. I'm 2.5 million in the venue and 2,500 a tube. I'm cold like I'm sick with the flu. I cover my face in
The Broncos are now on the clock.
Two. Yeah, please don't touch my ride. In the grass, Teddy, with the Teddy. quick with the hands ready. Please don't touch my, please don't touch my ride. Shirt off on cam, ready. Desktop in memory. Please don't pop my tie.
People tryna say I'm only enemy. Got a code with my dogs, can't get in between. I can give them life, no more energy. Man, amen. Spent about 60 on the time, I can't even lie. No way in, no way out, do or die. So on roll, when I roll, must be. Amen, man. I can't ride Benz, I don't do peace. I beast, I gotta eat. Saber tooth, tiger, diamond tooth teeth. Rockin' right now, won't you come peep? I was outside. The way that shake, leave your mouth wide. You need to say grace for you say thanks. Amen, what's left in my life, don't know what's in store. I've been dealing with these blessings that I can't ignore. Putting up the numbers, we ain't keeping score. Amen. I on the block, my side. Run it in the house for us 12 o'clock. Yeah, the hood love me, but you gotta watch. Amen. I just three, I don't do sleep. Yeah, trying to see.
The Titans are now on the clock.
Amen. Yeah, packed it from the south, moved it to the west. Iced the logo on the cross, threw it on my neck.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
Stay blessed, yeah. Amen. People tryna say I'm only enemy. Got a code with my dogs, can't get in between. I can give them life, no more energy. Amen. Man, put him into me. Everybody tryna take the identity. Everybody around me turn to a friend of me. Sit back while I take on the remedy. I cannot let it get into me. It's playing a toll on me mentally.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Buccaneers have made their selection. What can we tell you about him? That's why we have Adam Schefter.
Long talked about as a top 3 defensive back prospect, his draft stock fell dramatically after a series of consecutive struggles late in the season against inferior wide receivers. Many speculated that these struggles were due to a series of nagging injuries, a theory which may have been validated by his strong performance at his pro day. I was able to talk with several GMs about him at the Combine, and they told me he possesses the raw physical skills needed to become a top-tier NFL defensive back. 3 skills in particular were mentioned by every GM I spoke to: exceptional physicality at the line of scrimmage, a nose for the ball, and better hands than most receivers they've seen and scouted. The reason for his collegiate struggles may forever be shrouded in mystery, but will soon be forgotten if he's able to realize his full football potential.
I've been living so reckless, I know. Tell me, Logie, you help me. I said, Logie, help me. Now everybody got problems, yeah, but waiting on one way to solve them. I really came up from the bottom, struggling my mama on the last dollar. Hustling, man, I've been putting in these hours. The government been trying to take away what's ours. Really all about the money and the power. I just wanna see my people in power. Tell me how we gon' shape this vision. Complaining all day, but in the same condition. If you wanna make change, it's gon' take commitment. Some people enslaved by their religion can't emancipate the fundamental principles. What I see through optics transform the wisdom. Watch me use my prophets, get them on the list, and I've been on a mission. And I really can't take it no more. I've been fighting temptations, my Lord. I'm young and I'm restless, and I really can't help it. I never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. Tell me, Logie, you help me. I said, Logie, help me. Now everybody got fights, yeah, but wouldn't know what good advice was. Till they leave him lifeless. Another mama cry.
The Colts are now on the clock.
We just trying to live right, yes.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
I know we can't continue living like this, and I never sell my soul cause that's priceless. Tell me how we gon' make a living. Hustle on the block, who gon' save the children? Minutes on the plot and I'm just revealing. The media just trying to make a villain. I just take the pain and paint a picture. Voices in my head, I hear the whispers when I feel this way. And I really can't take it no more. I've been fighting.
Ravens have made their selection, and it's Gibson.
Scouts I've talked to expressed a great deal of frustration with his inconsistent play throughout the season, saying it made it near impossible to evaluate him in 11-on-11 situations. Even with this being said, there was significant interest in the big tight end, many believing that with the right coaching and confidence building, he could develop into a dominant player. This pick is a bit of a gamble, with the hope being a clean slate can help him exercise the demons that prevented him from reaching his full potential in college.
Not really can take it no more. I've been finding temptations my low.
The Jets are now on the clock.
I never felt selfish.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
I know to be lucky you help me well. I said lucky you help me.
The Bills are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. All right, let's go to Adam Schefter, who's got more on this pick.
He's been the subject of a fair amount of controversy after a mediocre season that culminated with one of the most impressive final games a defensive lineman has ever enjoyed. Critics claim he was the beneficiary of a tired offensive line, while his proponents cite an incredible swim and rip move that complement a powerful bull rush as the recipe to his success. If he struggles in the NFL and proves his critics right, it'll be interesting to see how much patience his new team has to watch him develop before moving in a different direction.
Yeah, I gotta just get off my chest. I cannot miss a last on my listen, you next.
Now that the Broncos have made their pick, let's go to Adam Schefter for more.
He was dismissed from the team earlier this year after reportedly not showing up to several organized team activities. This immediately raised some red flags among scouting circles around the league. However, I've been told that he came off as very sincere during the combine, telling teams that he was a team player and he won't make the same mistakes again. That sounds good on paper, but this team will find out very soon if he can back it up.
What you mean? Woo! And now just a so with the what you mean? Woo! Hold up, whoa, with the what you mean? Woo! Hold up now.
Don't know what you think, compare me. Adrenaline popping, the blood will be leaking and run. Yeah. I do what I do, I don't care if you like it or love it. Tell all of my I got a new girl. Wait. You tell the that I'm the bank and I want all my money in hundreds. I'm tired of living on the edge. I want it, they gon' call the feds. I just bought a cost an arm and leg. My mama told me take it back and get a job instead. Where's your common sense?
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Yeah. Born in the ghetto, I never had nothing to fear. Take it how you want it. I ain't famous like I want it, so I might just throw it if he fit. Call him Cassie after she.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Shorty, if she talking night, and she gon' call her friends up and we did. Whoa, I ain't in the talking, go chop off your lips. If I ain't in your top 10, go fall for bridge. My black boys,
The Steelers are now on the clock.
Joe gon' pop off, so hop off my.
What you mean? Woo! I said, what you mean? Woo! Listen, I don't trust her. So, no, I said, what you mean?
The Brooklyn Dodgers are now on the clock.
Whoa, I said, what you mean? Woo!
You thought it was finished. You thought it was over. You thought it retired. You thought it was fishing.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Considered as one of the coldest. Still a put a partner rapper here like Moses. I'm throwback like a molar roller. I'm cooler than a cup of yogurt. Black flag boy, truck soldier. I'm cool with laws and ayatollahs. Rap god, cyclops and ogre. I'm King Kong, ain't nobody told you. You think road still. And Bobby Brown about to go get. Paul McCartney, I'm rich. I'm Muhammad Ali, I talk. I'm James Brown, about to tear down this. I'm Michael Jackson, them bad as bad, gon' get it. What you mean?
I've been rolling on the freeway, I've been riding 85. I've been thinking way too much, and I'm way too gonna drive. I got anger in my chest, I got millions on my mind, and you didn't fit the picture, so I guess you want the vibe.
LOV on my right leg, that's Gucci. Dig what I'm saying? LOV on my man, that's Poochie. Dig what I'm saying? Caught a little jet lag, but I'm golden. Yeah. We deserve Grammys and some Oscars. They deserve whammies, they imposters. I be rolling with my project homies. It's a vibe. I just put the homie. It's a vibe. Over switch sides, it's a vibe. Yeah. I gon' do it. I gotta accept that I'm a. Yeah. I pull up in several different options. Yeah. That I will most ever. I shatter your dreams with this cream I make. What? Gotta be on the thinker. I say. What? I can't feel my toes, but ain't gon' fold up. I was in the double law when I rolled.
I've been rolling on the freeway, I've been riding 85. I've been thinking way too much, and I'm way too gonna drive. I got anger in my chest, I got millions on my mind, and you didn't fit the picture, so I guess you want the vibe. I've been rolling on the freeway, I've been riding 85. I've been thinking way too much, and I'm way too gonna drive. I got anger in my chest, I got millions on my mind, and you didn't fit the picture, so I guess you want the vibe.
Dig what I'm saying, Chanel drapes on me daily. Dig what I'm saying, sponsored by Mercedes. Dig what I'm saying, this Creek alone is on me, baby. Dig what I'm saying, I'm going hard, yeah. I pop in your memory. You should be glad I'm showing you sympathy. I gave you pure love out the gutter. Ever let you go, you gon' suffer from it. I gon' do it. I gotta accept that I'm a. I pull up in several different options. Yeah. That I will most ever. I shatter your dreams with this cream I make. What? Gotta be on the thinker. I say. What? I can't feel my toes, but ain't gon' fold up. I was in the double law when I rolled. Yeah.
I feel like I should be giving up. You can't leave it's too much. But I'm tired of you, me on. And I don't like where this is going. And I've been stuck in all your apologies. Gave my all, but you want it all from me. Keep your love, it doesn't feel the same. I hope it hurts you when you hear my name.
Yeah, pulling up with the crew. Oh my goodness. Must have done same with the roof. Oh my goodness. You sitting looking stupid on the stoop. Oh my goodness. I would take notes if I were you. Oh my goodness. This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know true north. Oh my goodness. Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw. Oh my goodness. The law, it's a shame, rhyme. Crime.
It's a shame they let us jump out of Bentleys with dirty vans. Hit the stage for 15 minutes, get 30 bands. Swiss bank counting clean money with dirty hands. With some hood that's ready to with the. Since I came in, it made my name a name brand. French. Paris clubbing like a caveman. We threw up the pyramids, now they say we Illuminati. I'm a tsunami, what the it's a little yachty. No blood diamonds, I rock gold like a king. Jury so cold, made them blow the nose off the Sphinx. You think I'ma be some type of role model? I go full throttle, desperado, that's the motto. Vic in Chicago is Hugh Hef at the grotto. Brazilian model, she mean mugging like Frida Kahlo. Drinking it with an Alicia Machado. I'm the ticket, you just hit the lotto.
Pulling up with the coupe. Oh my goodness. Must have done same with the roof. Oh my goodness. You sitting looking stupid on the stoop. Oh my goodness. I would take notes if I were you. Oh my goodness. This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know true north. Oh my goodness. Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw. Oh my goodness. The law, it's a shame, rhyme.
Young Vic the diamonds, finest. I shine like Puff Shine. Shines if I sign to the rock, cause I'm timeless. Top off the Mozzie, my behavior is mindless. On kids, we major, you minors. Fresh out the cell to the booth. Drop the roof, I'm still in the hood. Tell, shoot. Hope with a club. The judge, you rappers is false flagging, you a fashion. What's cuz, what you know about? What's Velo? Why Barry Lee, your head ringing? Free Vic Mensa, I'm a star, chain swinging. This that music, you can blame Reagan. I'm ball mayin' without paying. Y'all playing, we playing. My Himalayan. The lotto, that's a sacrificial lamb. I'm season cam, no matter, blam.
Pulling up with the coupe. Oh my goodness. Must have done same with the roof. Oh my goodness. You sitting looking stupid on the stoop. Oh my goodness. I would take notes if I were you. Oh my goodness. This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know true north. Oh my goodness. Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The law, it's a shame, rhyme, crime.
Every other night I'm outside with the. You ain't got chips. The world, you got chips. You could the next man's girl. Sounds harsh, but they been ripped apart my world. The way Kiss told it should never be misquoted. The that you wave on the camera, we've been toting. Selling love potion my whole rap career, so your streams and downloads could never match the kids. We could go foreign until it's boring. My sheep will keep jumping the fence until you're snoring. Street poetry, I'm more Wale for Lauren. Till the world is mine like Illmatic and Lauren. Written on to a table full of fresh skin in the type of rappers we know. Got the right numbers on it. Burn the Carter down like I'm Nino.
Pulling up with the coupe. Oh my goodness. Must have